welcome to the Motorsport Coaching Podcast, sponsored by Motivate Training and Management. This is a podcast where we talk to drivers and industry experts to help you maximize your performances on and off the track. Let's get started with today's show. Hey guys, and welcome to episode 49 of the Motorsport Coaching Podcast. I am your host, Belinda Risley, and tonight I am joined by the very talented 22-year-old Australian racing car driver, Caitlin Wood, who has just competed in the inaugural 2019 W Series Championships as the only Australian representative. I'm very proud of her. She's from Newcastle. She started racing karting when she was just 7 years old, thanks to her older brother and her father. She's got a wonderful story, and I hope you enjoy it today. Don't forget, guys, we do have an upcoming motorsport industry conference that will be happening in Melbourne, November 29 and 30. Please head to mic2019.com.au and to register your interest in the upcoming two-day event. We have our host booked in. We have our keynote speaker tentatively booked, or to be released in the first couple of weeks of September. It's going to be a fantastic pack of useful workshops and presentations around motorsport fitness, nutrition, mindset, how to gain sponsorship, social media, branding, public relations, leadership, building effective teams, culture, anything basically in order to improve our industry and your business. So again, please head over to mic2019.com.au. Now let's help welcome Caitlin to the show. Hey Caitlin, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So you've just come off the end of the W Series for 2019, but before we get stuck into that, we've got the fast four questions on behalf of Plus Fitness. Are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Favorite racetrack?
Bathurst.
Pineapple on pizzas?
Yes.
Yeah. Ford or Holden?
Oh, Ford.
Ford. Or fruit or veggies?
Veggies.
Yeah, me too. Favorite veggie?
Sweet potato.
Oh, I agree. I love it. However, I'm on to eggplant chips at the moment. Have you got those?
Yeah, they're not too bad, but I just can't go past sweet potato.
Yes, I love it. All right, Kayla, so more excitedly, at 21 years of age, you've just finished your first season of the W Series 2019. How did all of that come about?
It seemed
where
like,
to start?
like yesterday, to be honest. It's all going so quickly. But the W Series pretty much come, as everyone saw in the media, it sort of evolved this time last year, to be absolutely fair. There was always talk about the championship, but there was nothing like actually set in stone. So I pretty much got wind of it this time last year, and I got asked to be a part of it from the W Series, to go through the selection process. And I thought, why not? At that point in time, I didn't have any drives available, and I've always wanted to go back into single-seaters. So it was, the best opportunity to come past me at that point in my career.
Yeah, because you were living in the UK, so you are originally from Australia. Have you got UK parents, or have you just picked up the accent? It's like, wow.
I've just picked up the accent. I've actually only been here 18 months.
Really?
Yeah. But no, I grew up, lived in Australia until I was 18, and then I moved to Germany by myself for racing in 2016. So I lived in Germany for 2 years, and then I'm on my second year here in the UK.
Wow. Good accent. I'm so impressed. So you did start karting when you were 7. How did you get involved in it way back then? And tell us, I guess, your journey to get into the W Series.
Yeah, essentially, back in go-karts, my brother and my father were definitely big roles. So I have an older brother. He's about 12 years older than me. So when I was born, he was already karting. So I just grew up around it at the go-kart track, and I didn't really know anything else, to be honest. So yeah, I thought it was normal.
Yeah, same story.
Yeah,
My older brother is 11 years older than me. So exactly when I was born, this was my family's life. And so like my childhood, toddler year, primary school years, everything was out the track as well.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I didn't think anything of it. I just wanted to go racing as well. I wanted to follow in my brother's footsteps. So yeah, I was lucky enough that my parents were really supportive of it, and I got my first go-kart on my 7th birthday, and we went out to Newcastle kart track, and I didn't make it past the first corner, and I was already in the gravel. So my dad and my brother had a lot of running around to do, but it was great fun, and pretty much just progressed on from there. I don't think any of us thought that I'd be living in Europe or the UK racing internationally. So I've been really lucky, and I've worked really hard for where I am. And yeah, the W Series pretty much come at a really vulnerable time in my career when I needed it. And you know, I didn't just want to be a part of it. I needed it for my career. So I'm really grateful for the opportunity that they've given me to get back into single seaters and to progress essentially in my career.
So after karting, you moved up into Formula Fords, and then you went to Formula Fours, and then you decided to go overseas, or did you double in some other things before that?
So yeah, as you said, I got out of go-karts when I was around 15, 16, and I was lucky enough to get into Formula Ford, and that was again through through my dad and my brother. So again, with him being a few years older than me, he raced Formula Ford, and it was just a family team ran car. So it was always just out of our shed with my dad and my brother working on it. And yeah, my brother had a little bit of an accident or whatever. He's absolutely fine, but the car was in a million pieces in the shed and pretty much stayed there for a few years, to be honest. So yeah, I got old enough, and then I was like, so Dad, when do I get to have a go? And he was like, oh, really?
Oh, yes.
And yeah, he was like, all right, well, if you can put it back together, then you can race it. So that's what we did those Christmas holidays. I put the car back together with my dad and my brother, and then we took it racing as a family. So that was you know, a really special part of my career, and I always look back to it now, and it was so much fun. And we did 2 and a bit years of Formula Ford. So I did the first year with my family, and then I joined the Synergy race team from Sydney with Justin Cotter, and I raced with him, which was great. It was the next step that I really needed in my career to join a proper race team and you know, get the insights on how it all works. And after Formula Ford, I did 2 races in Australian F4, something like that, with Dream Motorsport. And yeah, then that was pretty much my single seater experience. Unfortunately finished because we didn't have any more sponsorship or anything like that. And yeah, essentially with the whole Europe opportunity, I was working full time. I was working 2 jobs actually at the time, and I didn't think that I would be racing in 2016. I sort of thought, you know, I've hit that mark in my career, and if I can find something, I can find something, and if I can't, like, this is going to be a tough year, but we all have them. And the opportunity came about through Writer Engineering, and they invited me over. So within like a month, I just moved over to Germany by myself.
Wow.
And I worked for their team, and then I raced in the Young Stars Championship in GT4.
Which you won.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Congratulations. It's all right to talk yourself up, Caitlin. You can give yourself a pat on the back because it's an amazing achievement. So first of all, how did you go moving to an international country by yourself? Had you ever traveled before by yourself? And how did you go fitting in with the language, the food? Where did you live? Tell us all those exciting things that, you know, aspiring junior drivers who possibly have this opportunity to go and do that will know what they're up for.
Oh, well, it's bloody hard. I'm not going to lie. Most people go over for 6 months and then they go back home because it's really tough. And I'm not going to lie, I definitely had a few of those moments. Germany was a really difficult country, just straight off 18, trying to go and move to and make friends. Like, I didn't live in a city either, which didn't really help. So there was a massive language barrier. I lived in essentially like a rural village over there, and everyone just spoke German. So that was really tough for me. I'm not a very good language person, so I picked up bits and pieces, and I could go to the shops and order food, and I could get by. But other than that, I wouldn't be able to hold a conversation. I was really grateful for the team. Rice Engineering really looked after me. And I literally just based myself 5-10 minutes from the workshop in that little village called Laufen. And I moved in with another racing driver who was in the W Series this year, Naomi Schiff. So she was nice enough to let me move in. Before that, I was literally bouncing between cheap hotels and couches and wherever I could. So yeah, then I moved in with her, and then we had those 2 years together, which was quite interesting, really fun, and Rita was a really great experience. But as a whole, living in Germany, the scenery was absolutely beautiful. The mountains, you could go hiking on the weekends if you weren't at a racetrack. But I pretty much just put my heart and soul into racing at that point. I was always on the road with the team, traveling, to Italy, France, wherever, Slovakia, Hungary. I was working for the team, so I would help out wherever I could. And then when I was racing, I was racing. So, it was amazing. One of the best experiences of my life, but yeah, definitely one of the hardest.
And so what were you doing within the team? So I said before that you put your own Formula Ford back together. Are you a mechanic as well?
No. No, I wish. I was pretty much just doing anything and everything, to be completely honest. I would help out in the workshop, but obviously nothing too hands-on. I was doing a lot of driving for the team, so I was a little bit going out to pick up tires, and then chauffeuring people around within the team to get them where they needed to be. It was just a variety of different things, to be completely honest. On a race weekend, obviously. It was just everything. You know what racing's like. You just go in and you go in as that helper. The gopher, essentially, and you just run around and see where you can help. And I did a bit of driver coaching and stuff, but most of their driver coaching and training started when I moved to the UK.
And how did that come about, moving to the UK? What was that for W Series, or was that for another opportunity?
No, well, at this point because I moved in the beginning of 2018, at this point, the W Series hadn't really become on everyone's radar. It was still, I think, in the upcoming process.
Yeah.
Genuinely, I just moved to the UK because my German visa ran out, if I'm completely honest. So my visa ran out. I had to go home. So I went home to Australia for Christmas, and I'd been in contact with a UK race team who raced in the European Lamborghini Series. They wanted me to be a part of their team and help out another driver. So pretty much we had like a few phone calls and stuff. I went and did a test before I before I went back to Oz, and I shook hands with him there and then. And I said, if you can get me a job and a place to stay, then I'll come to the UK. So that's what he did. And then I got a flight in February and didn't know where I was living. I got picked up from the airport, and that's how I moved to the UK. Then again, I was fortunate enough that they had quite a few contacts in the instructing industry over here in the UK. So I got started doing instructing for work, and now I'm a full-time ARDS instructor over here, and I work at everywhere. To be honest, I'm always on the road instructing for a bunch of different companies. I work at Palmer Sport, Mr. Palmer's complex in Bedford, and I work for a few different track day companies, Open Track, and yeah, it's been great. I really enjoy the job.
Going over, so your applications are currently now open, I saw last week, for the W Series for 2020. So as you said, it was pretty much a year ago when this all came about. Like, was it just a dream come true? Like, talk us about, okay, you applied, it was just an application online. What was the process after that? How did it all come about? And were you jumping for joy, or how did you celebrate? And tell us a bit about it.
Well, yeah, it was just an online application, and obviously I filled it all in, and I was lucky enough to get the opportunity to go to Austria to milk and see how I went, essentially. When I got the application accepted, I was excited, but I didn't have a spot yet, so it was just like, I've got to focus on the next step. And I was really excited in milk because that was really tough. It was an amazing few days. It really tested everything, to be completely honest. Everything was tested. So you come out of it and you're like, whoa, I've really learned as a driver and as an athlete. So to make it to the next step after that, I knew that I'd achieved something quite special. So I was really proud of that. But yeah, it was so much fun. The conditions were crazy with the ice and the snow, and I'd never really been in anything like it before. So it was a lot of fun. And then after milk, we then went to Almeria in Spain and actually tested the F3 cars, which was obviously, one of the best things to have done. At this point, I hadn't driven an F3 before, so it was amazing to get that, and we did really well. We showed our pace, and I was able to get into the top 12, which got straight through into the 2019 series. So I was really, really proud. Really happy to represent Australia as well as the only one. So it was just it was a really great experience. I've had an absolute great time this year. There's obviously been ups and downs in the championship, like any championship you compete in, with like my results. But overall, I've had an amazing time, and it's all credit to the W Series. They're doing a great job in getting women in the spotlight and in improving their careers. You just look at Jamie now; she's got a Williams, sim contract. Each and every driver is getting more opportunities just from being a part of the W Series. So I'm really proud to be a part of it, and I want to continue the journey with them.
And do you qualify for one of those instant recognitions for 2020, or you still have to apply again?
No, so unfortunately I missed the requalification by 1 point in the championship. So that was a bit of a slap in the face at Brands, but we did the best that we could. We had a bit of a iffy start to the season with a few issues, but yeah, it is what it is. That's motorsport. So I think it'll be a really great story to miss out on the reselection by 1 point in 2019, and then finish in the top 3 into 2020. So the goal is to get back on the grid and do well.
And how do you prepare for that, Caitlin? So I know that you're right into your fitness training. What are you doing now in order to prepare for the 2020 season?
Well, at the moment, to be completely honest, I've just been on holiday. I'm just on holidays with my family. So it's been such a busy season. It's been a busy year. I'm actually taking some time off for some rest, because this whole waiting game and knowing whether I'm going to be racing next year, whether I'm going to be reselected is, it's quite mentally draining. So I'm just trying to not think about it at the moment, keep my head on straight, work, hang out with my family, as my parents will head home next week to Australia. And as in training, obviously, as you said, I really enjoy my training. I do a variety of different training. This year I was lucky enough to work with Hintze, who was a partner of the W Series, so they pretty much became my full-time coach, and we did a lot of work in pretty much just turning my advantages in my fitness turning what I would think of a disadvantage into my advantage. So just changing up my program a little bit, obviously focusing, with it being a Formula car, focusing really much on your core and your upper body, making sure you're strong enough with all the G-forces that we obviously feel throughout the races, and then just keeping your fitness intact and pushing yourself. It's in the hot conditions when we're at Mazzano and things like that, it's a tough gig, but it's nothing compared to the 2-hour stints and stuff that I've done in the past in GTs. So I'm pretty happy with how my fitness and everything has come about.
And you talked about the disappointment, Caitlin, of missing out by 1 point. How has your mindset been, and what has it been over the course of the last 10 months? What kind
It's been tough. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it's been tough. It's been amazing. It's been a roller coaster. Essentially, at the beginning of the year, you go in with like such, you do as a driver, you go in with such high expectations that I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and when things start essentially going wrong or not how you see them to go, you do get a bit of an eye-opener in a sense. So, you know, we had a few issues and then I made a mistake, and then, you know, it's just like a back-to-back of things that go wrong and you get yourself down over it. So, yeah, that's what happened in the middle of the year. I was a bit down because, you know, I didn't have the results that I believed that I could achieve. And I just had to take a step back. I had to, you know, say no to work a little bit, take a bit of time for myself and try and do everything 100%. You know, I don't have, you know, just being able to focus on racing. I do have to work, and I work full time instructing. I'm always traveling, I'm always training, so it can get a bit much at times. So I had to really try and reel everything in and focus on everything 100% instead of just trying to do everything all at once, which I did, and I got my head back, and then that's when we finished fifth at Assen. So yeah, I've had some really, really great moments this year, really great highlights. It was just a bit of a shame for myself. The start of the season didn't go how we wanted, but you know, that's motorsport. So yeah, we come back in the second half, we showed what we could do. There's 1 point. So I've shown Dave Ryan and everyone what I can do, and you know, they see in the data that, you know, when things were going wrong, that I was able to drive around them and do what I had to do and just continue on. So I never had an accident or anything once. So yeah, just fingers crossed. I'll hopefully find out in the next month or so whether I'll be back on the grid once they obviously reassess the new applications. And yeah, I want to be the Aussie back on the grid.
Oh, we wish you all the very best, and we hope to see you there as well. But did you work with a mindset coach, Caitlin, or do you work with a sports psychologist, or did you, or did the W Series provide you with anything like that?
The Hinsa coaches who do our fitness and everything were pretty much very similar. They weren't qualified mindset coaches or anything like that, but they were able to see everything from another angle and help you also change your perspective. But no, I didn't work with a mindset coach or anyone. It was just like myself and my boyfriend. He really made me take a step back and try and focus on myself and my dad, and it was just family more than anything. I have always been one to put too much pressure on myself and then, you know, end up being all upset as to why nothing's working, but it's just too much pressure. So, you know, towards the end of the season, I was able to manage that a lot better than at the beginning. And yeah, I think a mindset coach is something that we'll look into, but I seem to get a handle of myself as the season went on. So, you know, that's an achievement in itself.
Fantastic. Well done, Caitlin. Well, I've just got a few more questions I've posted that I was interviewing today on the Facebook group. And so I've got some of the ladies were wanting to know, can you please ask her what the W Series was like compared to standard race events in regards to camaraderie and competitiveness? What is about the same or better or worse?
It was honestly the most
That's from Rochelle.
Right experience in any ever. It was insane. I didn't know what to expect. I'm Aussie, so I'm very blunt. I'm very black and white. I didn't know if I'd actually make any friends. But yeah, it was the most I've ever witnessed. Everyone actually really got along. If people had issues with each other, we just go speak about it behind cameras and, you know, get it over and done with. And the next session, it was all forgotten about. We'd all moved on. So, you know, there was no bitchiness or anything like that I experienced anyway. I don't know. I think everyone's experience might be different, but I was really impressed with that. There's a few girls that, you know, you race with and you work alongside that you become really great friends with, like Bats Kavissa. I think she's an amazing driver. You know, has a really, really good attitude towards racing and is a really nice person. So when you race out on circuit, yes, you know, they're your competitor, they're who you want to beat. But off track, I did make some really great friends, and it was a really great environment to be a part of. That was something, if I'm completely surprised me, how it would, money that's involved, how big the W Series got. I wasn't sure how everyone would be able to that, but I was, like I said, really, really happy, and really proud of all the women to, be really respectful of one another.
And Caitlin, do you think the fact that the W Series is a level playing field as far as sponsors, cars, and pretty much, I guess, everything is concerned, that has made a major difference in that camaraderie and in the relationships within the field?
Yeah, I'd say so, because there's not a lot that you were able to change. At the beginning of the weekend, before you got there, you didn't actually know who your engineer was going to, know what car you were going to be in, and at each radio series had already set up for you guys to run, and then that's what everyone, you're only able to change like minor things. So hang on, excuse me. You're only able thanks. You're only able to change very minor things, so maybe a few holes on the front or rear wing, and then that was about it. So having that variable, I think, like you said, everyone knew that if you were at the front, then there's no taking that away from you. You'd worked hard, you were a good driver. So that definitely, I think, helped. There was no other excuses, was there?
Right, that's right. And what about your sponsors? Did you have sponsors from the previous year from the GT series, that when you got into the W series that you went, oh, thanks, but no thanks, I'm right, for 12 months? Or how did that relationships, I guess, what point are they at? Did they just sit by the sideline? Did they still continue to support you? Or
to be honest, in what year were we in? 2018, when I was just doing selected rounds in the Lamborghini. So I actually only did 3 rounds in the whole year. And that was just due to sponsors, as you know, like most people. So I actually only got round by round sponsors. So at that point in time, I didn't have anything for 2019. So I unfortunately wasn't lucky enough to carry them over to the W Series or anything like that. Ultimately, I'd love to work with an Australian brand alongside the W Series. I think that would be, really, really special. And, we'd have like an Aussie team. But at this point in time this year, I just obviously focused on the racing and everything. And now that I know how it all works, and the ins and outs of what I'm allowed to do, and who we can bring in, and just everything really, the setup, it just really helps. So if I am to hopefully get a seat for 2020, I think that's definitely something I'd like to look at, into bringing an Aussie brand into the series alongside myself. I think that would be really special.
I think it would be fantastic too, and I'm sure there'd be some international business that has, business in Australia and the UK and basically everywhere over there that would benefit from that partnership. So we'll make sure we put all your details in the show notes. So if anyone knows of a business that is wanting to support Caitlin, they can get in contact with you. So obviously that's the goal for 2020, Caitlin, is to re-sign with the W Series. If you are unsuccessful, do you have another plan?
If I'm honest, no. But does anyone ever have a plan in like August and September for the coming up year in motorsport? No. So I've been able to make it work for the past 4 years in Europe, and I don't even know how I've done it. So I know I'll keep doing it somehow. But ultimately, my full long-time career goal is Le Mans. So I'd have to use my prize money really carefully and see what paths and what roads would be best if I unfortunately was not able to go back in 2020. So we'll see what we can do. I love GT racing, but I've fallen in love with Formula 3. So we just see what happens, and I could probably tell you that in the next month or 2 months. So we'll figure it out.
And is your partner in motorsports as well?
Yeah, Matt. He did go-karts, everything. He was a factory kart driver actually back in the day, and now he's just really supportive. He works as an instructor as well, and we both have done very different things in our career. So it's really nice to have someone who's been in the industry, I guess, who knows the pressures of it, so they can help you on that side, but can also, help you see things when you need to see them. I think that was really important and what I needed this year. So, he helped me just bring me back a bit and focus on myself. So yeah, great.
That's fantastic. And where's your brother in all of this? Is he your number 2 fan or?
Yeah, he's back home in Oz. He's living it up, like in the sunshine and stuff. So no, we still talk obviously quite regularly. No, he doesn't race anymore. So he pretty much stopped racing in Formula Ford, but he then went into the engineering side of things.
Yep.
So he was actually an engineer in V8s with D'Alberto back in the day, about a few years back. But now he's out of motorsport altogether. He has his own family now, so he's got his first child, and they live on the Central Coast, and they're having a great time there. So it's unfortunate that I don't get to see him very often, but I think that's the price you pay in motorsport sometimes, isn't it?
Yes. So is it fair to say we've lost you to the UK?
We'll see. Obviously, Australia will always be home. But at this point in time, the work that I'm getting over here is great, and it's motorsport based. It's something I really enjoy, and unfortunately there's not enough of this work in Australia for me to live off, essentially. We don't have a big enough population with the companies to make a living out of it. It's just like a part-time job. So whilst I'm young, I may as well stay over here and make the most of it and enjoy all the experiences, because you never know who you actually work, or you never know who you might coach and they might want to go racing. So we'll see how it goes depending on visas and stuff. That's the tricky part. So if you know anyone, that would be great.
And have you got any aspirations to drive back here, or like, is it a category that you've been watching that you think, oh, I wouldn't mind having a round in that, or pursuing that maybe later in life?
Yeah, absolutely. I always keep an eye on Australian motorsport. I think I'd be silly if I didn't. Obviously, I've still got a few friends that are racing in Super 2 and that, and I've been watching their progress, and it's really great to see. But yeah, ultimately the Bathurst 12-hour. So I had 2 goes at it, and third time's the charm. So we were really unfortunate this year. We were second in class in GT4, and then the engine blew up with half an hour to go. So I was a bit heartbreaking, but that is also motorsport. So yeah, third time's the charm. Hopefully, that's definitely a race I wanna fully get the tick for and tick it off and end up on that podium. But I think I got my eyes set on that still for now. Ultimately, everyone loves the Supercars Championship, and it would be a great opportunity or something that I would love to do. But at this point in time, my career seems to be over here, and I'll come home eventually.
Or not.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see what Matt's up to, hey? So Caitlin, I've got one more question. Liz has asked, I'm wondering if Caitlin has any advice on combating pre-race nerves. Maybe she's lucky not to have them, but has heard, but have you got any advice from others?
Yeah, that is, I think you've just got to realize if you're nervous, it means you care. That was something that took me a while to get my head around. Like, I'm not nervous just for the sake of being nervous. Like, I'm nervous because I really care about where I finish or how I race and doing a good job. So if you sort of just switch your mind frame around and switch how you look at it, nerves aren't a bad thing. They're really a good thing, because I think if you went into a race and you weren't nervous at all, I think then you've got a bit of an issue, because it's like, do you care?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's sort of what I do. Obviously, you've got to be able to manage them, though. You can't let it take over you and you get a bad start or whatever, and then you're thinking about the bad start the whole race. I think you've just got to focus on the present. As hard as that may be, you just think of an anchor or something that can bring you back. If you do a lot of visualization before the race, or as a tool, if you can find an anchor that brings your mind back to the present moment, then really, really focus on that to get yourself into the correct mind frame for the race. Like I said, when you line up to that start box, like you're nervous. You're not nervous, but it's a really amazing feeling. You've just got to think, I'd rather be nervous than not be on the grid at all. So try and turn it into a positive rather than a negative. That's sort of how I try and see it.
Fantastic advice. Thank you very much, Caitlin. Well, I won't keep you any longer from your holidays with your family. I do appreciate your time today. Thank you for sharing your story with us.
No worries. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And I really hope that we get to see your name again on 2020 W Series Racing Guide. If people are wanting to support you and follow your journey for 2020 and beyond, how can they follow you?
Yeah, so pretty much the typical social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Caitlin Wood Racing. I've also got my own website, but we're in the actual process of redeveloping it for a more updated information and look. So that's also CaitlinWoodRacing.com. But yeah, essentially 3 social media and media outlets are the way to get in contact and to follow what I'm doing.
Thank you very much again, Caitlin.
I know we've paused.
Oh, that's all right. We'll just come back. Are you there?
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, so thank you very much again for your time today. All the best. And we look forward to seeing hopefully that press release come out in the next couple of weeks.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, thanks everyone for listening to this week's show. I really hope you enjoyed that one as much as I did. Now, remember, all the show notes with the links and the specials mentioned in today's show are available over at motivatetraining.com.au. If you haven't already, I'd really appreciate it if you could head to iTunes or Stitcher, type in Motorsport Coaching, subscribe, and leave us a review. Each week, I'll read them out and you'll go into monthly draw to win a fantastic prize. If you have any questions or comments, please email us at motivatetraining.com.au or head over to our Facebook page at Motivate to Tea. Until next time, take care.